Good evening, good afternoon, and hello there. It's been a while since I put a video out. Been lacking ideas of late, to be honest. But first of all, I just want to say I hope everyone's having a good Christmas and obviously a happy New Year. And uh, this is a funny time of the year because it's supposed to be a time of happiness, and it is. But there is also a lot of people that this time of year find it very, very difficult. Um, So please do reach out to friends, family, people to talk to and stuff. Don't um, isolate yourself. It's supposedly a time for happiness, but Christmas can be a very very lonely time. So I just wanted to put that out there before we get onto the gaming stuff, because I do think it is important. Mental health, particularly, really does need that emphasis. But yeah. So anyway, as I said, happy Christmas and happy New Year, and we'll show you off the game I picked up. I've only one pick up today, so I picked up on eBay Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition. Now the only reason I got this was for Majora's Mask. I've never played Majora's Mask. I'm still hunting an N64 version of the game. But the N64 version is about 100. Well, the PAL version is about £100 with a manual as well. And that I still need the expansion pack as well, or the expansion pack for the N64. I think it's like 4 megabytes, but that's another 50 quid on top of it. So, but I will be picking that up at some point. But this one has the Legend of Link, which is the very first Zelda game. We've got no, that's Zelda 2, sorry. So where's the first one then? So Legend of Zelda is the first one, the original NES game. Legend of Link Zelda 2 is kind of like a black sheep of the Zelda family. I've never played through it thoroughly. I've played it on Game Boy Advance once or twice, but not thoroughly played through it. And the same would be said for the original Zelda. Might be one that maybe requires a remake for modern audiences. I'm not really sure, to be honest. But this is also includes Ocarina of Time and also Majora's Mask, which is the one, as I said, I want. That's the only one that needs the expansion pack to run on the N64. But as I said, like the game is £100 for a manual box and cart, and it's in reasonably good condition. But it is quite a lot to put down on it, so maybe in the new year I'll look at picking that up. I'm quite curious about Majora's Mask because it runs on the same engine, I believe, as Ocarina of Time. And this also has a demo for Wind Waker on it. So I might do a little video on that because that might be kind of interesting to see if they've made any changes between the pre-release and the actual release. You know, from a game that came out in like 2001. I think it was 2001. But yeah, let's have a glance. I am going to just zoom us in just a touch. I'm trying to keep the music not too high, just because copyright with particularly Zelda tends to be like, it's Nintendo, so you know what Nintendo tend to be like when it comes to stuff like this. There is a retrospective on this as well, which is kind of interesting. So we'll have a quick glance at it. See, I don't know if I'd play that. I'm not really sure. It looks kind of primitive, but then it might be better than it actually looks. That's one I've not played. Now that's excellent. I've not ever played that thoroughly all the way through. Link to the Past. I've got it on Game Boy Advance on cartridge, and that's the most favourite one of all. And Link's Awakening. That's the one they remade on Switch, which is a very good game. Possibly my favourite Zelda game of all time. It probably, as I've said many times without, I'm unsure. It probably it might just slightly outdo these games, Tears of the Kingdom. These are ones I've never played, and these are Game Boy Color exclusives, I believe. Seasons and Ages are very interesting games. And you can also get Majora's Mask on 3DS. That might be the best way to play it, to be honest. But it's got like a weird time mechanic, Majora's Mask, which I'm quite curious about. There's also a Four Swords on Gamecube as well, which is like, that's another like 90 quid game I think on Gamecube. But I think it's very level based, if I'm understanding correctly. Wind Waker is just, there's something special about Wind Waker, the art style, and it was hated when it came out, hated royally for some bizarre reason. I mean, it's just the art style, I guess. I guess because we had the whole, they showed that footage at E3, and it was just totally different from what they actually released. Then obviously they brought in Twilight Princess afterwards. But yeah, I'm quite happy. This set me back. I think this was £34. I think I sold a lot of games on I sold all the old those Xbox games, and I got and I sold that Marvel's Ultimate Alliance that I bought. So this came in at £34.94, which it's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst price I've paid for sort of retro games. Dungeon, interesting. I've played halfway. I'm more than halfway through this, but it's also it's kind of been a while since I want to go back to it at some point. I've been writing a list of basically games I want to actually finish. Oh, I remember this. This is the... I think this is the one... I think this is the one where you fight the bird, if I remember correctly, at the top of the mountain. This is like one of the first dungeons, I think. So I've got a weird obsession that I want to get my hands on the Wii U version, the HD version, both of that and Twilight Princess. But I'm like sat there thinking, I don't know if I can justify getting a Wii U for 2 games. Honestly, the Wii U's aren't that expensive. They're about 100 quid. Some of the games are maybe less. And the library would actually be very, very easy to collect for. Other than a couple of select titles that have gone up ridiculously in terms of their expense, there's very little on the Wii U. But it's interesting nonetheless. Oh, I do remember this. Forgot a good... Oh, God. Forgot a good Wind Waker is. And the combat system on it is actually really, really good. Right, kill him. I got it. Controls on this feel pretty fluid, actually. It's not that difficult. Got some rupees. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of differences between this and the final release. Yeah, as I said, I still think Ocarina of Time is probably my... It probably edges Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild in terms of just nostalgia, I guess, but it's not. What is that? Yeah, it probably does. I'm weird like that. I sort of change all the time when it comes to things like this, but it is. Can we move? What? No. No, probably not. I've got the dungeon key to get in there. I have not. I've not got a... You'd have thought I'd have some sticks or something to... That's very odd. I even got my it's been ages since I've done that. I haven't even got any songs yet. Okay, so I've been a demo, I suppose it's going to be pretty limited by what you can actually do. So interesting, is there any way to get out of this? There is not. So I would imagine I have to reset the Gamecube. Oh no, that was intelligent. So yeah, that is pretty much my last pickup of the year, most probably. There's one left in the Zelda collection to get my hands on, and that is, as I said, Four Swords. But I'm not sure about Four Swords just because it's kind of a Is that not working? It's kind of like it's like a multiplayer. I think like 4-player or single. No, 4-player. It could be up to 4 players, but I think it's like game-wise as such. In terms of levels or something. I don't know why my Switch it never seems to work with these old systems. Here we go. Just have a quick look at Majora's Mask. I assume the Ocarina on this is not the same as the base version, because on the Wind Waker game you can get the is it the Master Quest version, which I've never played before. Great. I also got a new memory card. I bought a new one, which is this here. I think it's like 1,000 blocks or something. The one thing I have noticed though is my GameCube isn't basically isn't holding the tight. In fact, why don't we take these out, man? Yes, you can see. So I got it off Amazon for about 10 quid or something. Do need to get a new controller as well, because that my brother's bird chewed the plastic the rubber off the thing, unfortunately. But yeah, this is like 100 quid on eBay. The funny thing is, I believe UK N64s can play Australian N64 games because they're both set. I'm assuming they're both set to 50 hertz. So that's kind of weird. Like, I was looking at Pokemon Stadium 2 on N64, so that might be an option, because in the US, obviously, you can just, there's a little thing in the carts, so you can just pull that block out on the carts, and then you can play Japanese games. But obviously, uh, they don't use the PAL system, so their games aren't locked to 50 like they are in the UK and places like Australia. So it's a bit of a weird one, but it's fascinating nonetheless. There's a good old N64 graphics way. I think this. I don't know. This is a direct tie-on. It's a sequel to Ocarina of Time, in some regards, because of it happens after. But obviously, it depends on what timeline you're looking at with when it comes to the end of Ocarina of Time, because there's a timeline where he goes back as a child, and then there's a timeline, I believe, when he stays as an adult. So it just, I'm not sure if it's technically canon or not. But it is a weird one, and I would probably personally recommend playing it on 3DS now, given the fact that the new graphics models and stuff. But if you want the real deal, this is the kind of the way to play it. 4:3 aspect ratio as well, which doesn't look that bad on a 4K TV in the grand scheme of things. It's just like, it is what it is. And you've got these really, really cool upscalers now that upscale things quite well. And it doesn't look that bad in the grand scheme of things. But if you don't have an upscaler and you just use a cheap converter box, they do the job. If you're limited by budget, but they do look pretty naff, and they can look horrible. The N64 looks horrible on this TV. Until I get the I was looking at a queso or device that I think it upscales I think it's like the resolution by 2 times. And obviously, I think this is running at a higher resolution than the original base N64 Majora's Mask game would have run at. So something like that, if I'm understanding correctly. But I think it's about 50 quid, I think, for that adapter, or 47. So I'm probably going to pick that up at some point. It's just a case that why is that in different languages? Interesting. Basically, why is that in different languages? That's odd. Let's just give it a try, mate. Yeah, so kind of lost my train of thought then. That threw me off when I saw the different languages. It's just weird. So literally the entire story, I'm not even the story of this game is that he has his ocarina nicked, and that's pretty much it. He's got a different shield as well, I've noticed as well. And the fact that he's a child is different as well. And there's evil fairies. That's kind of creepy, actually. There's quite a Ocarina. Majora's Mask is quite a dark game even compared to Ocarina. Fucking nicked his ocarina and his horse. What a dick. What a dick. I've never watched the intro cutscene for this either. What a terrible dick. There's some speculation this is just a complete dream, this. So, I'm not really sure. So he nicked his horse. What a complete arse. Oh yeah, this definitely feels like Ocarina of Time. You can see they've done a little bit of work to the graphics. Oh, I don't like that I can deal with, but I'm so used to orientating the C stick. Oh, it does. First person. Interesting. It's very, very dark though, this game is very much. What is this? What the hell? What if I fall into some sort of black... What on earth? This guy's a dick. Oh, the Deca scrub things. Oh, I see. So you change to different creatures for different puzzles and stuff. That's kind of cool. Whatever happened to Navy or Navu, the fairy? It's different. Haven't been doing a lot of content of late. I've done Dawn of War. I picked up Dawn of War Definitive Edition, so I've been playing through the campaign on that as Tau in Soulstorm, and I've been messing about with the is it the Unification mod, which is kind of cool. Anyway, I think I will leave it there. So as I said, Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition. One of the last ones really for me to get my hands on GameCube. Obviously I'm still on the hunt for the N64 one, but this is going to be the easier way to play the game. So I'm not really sure, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and I hope everyone's having, as I said, a wonderful Christmas, and I hope you get your gaming, whatever you're playing. Let me know what you're playing, what your backlog is. My backlog is, as I've shown before, horrendous at this point. But I got to finish some old games, modern games. I did dabble a bit with Metroid Prime Fusion, I believe it was. And at first I wasn't that keen, and then I got the knack. I started to enjoy it, like the puzzles and like tracking back and finding new items to then to go to locations that I couldn't originally pass through, and bits like that. It was kind of cool and interesting. Again, I only played about 2 hours of it or something, or no, I mean an hour, just to dabble with it and make sure the games are still working. That, but yeah. Anyway, I will leave it there, and enjoy your Christmas and game on whatever you're playing. Anyway, peace, and see you later.